Hi, I'm here with Helen, a homecomer. Helen, could you just kind of tell us a little bit about what was going on with you before your career homecoming in your career and your life and why you needed a change?
Okay. Yeah. Hi. I was working an administrative job. I had had this viewpoint for years that the job didn't really matter. I had studied creative writing. I had my MFA in creative writing, and that had always been the main focus of my life. I had single-mindedly pursued it, and so I juggled a bunch of odd jobs over the years. Some of them were more meaningful than others. That the administrative job definitely was not particularly meaningful, and I got to a point where I realized I really wasn't doing all that much writing in my downtime. It had sort of lost its spark. I think a lot of it had to do with how solitary it is, and I was finding that in my downtime, I really didn't want to be alone all the time. And there's such a remove from writing a story and then maybe getting it published and feeling like it's impacted somebody in a positive way. It just takes so long, uh, and that's a lot of time to spend, alone writing. Um, so when I realized I wasn't really doing all that much writing, uh, then all I really had was this day job that really wasn't giving me much meaning. And so I despaired. I really felt like, um, yeah, it was a bit of an existential crisis, actually. I thought, what am I even doing here? I'm making photocopies and receiving people at this front desk, sometimes having my time and patience abused. And then I go home and, and writing isn't even there for me anymore. And so, I just knew something had to shift. I had no idea what, if not writing, I had no idea what I would do for a living. Um, but I couldn't stand to be at my job another day. And of course, that was a year ago. So I did survive.
So, while you were in this kind of, crisis period, were there things that you tried to do to like solve the problem and what was that like, and then why did you think, okay, well, your career homecoming is that's the thing that's going to work?
hmm Yeah, I did. I tried, sort of, didn't know that this was going to be against your advice, but I did sort of cast super wide net, which was really disheartening. Ultimately, I thought it was a really good idea, but it wasn't. Um, I scoured job boards. I applied for anything having to do with writing or editing, that I felt like would maybe involve a nonprofit, would involve sort of working with people in a capacity that felt important. Um, yeah, I applied for dozens and dozens of jobs, and I got one phone call, one interview, and it was in Richmond. I live in Charlottesville, and so it was just an hour down the road, and I was looking for kind of a life change too. I was looking to try a different city. I was sort of feeling up for adventure, or at least it was starting to percolate. Um, I got the one phone interview, and that's all I got. And I just kind of took it as a sign from the universe. I thought, like, there's no denying this, that I am not supposed to leave this job right now because I can't get another job. so so I decided at that point I had been using your resources, the free resources on your website, and that's how I had kind of narrowed down sort of what I wanted to do, but I was still hell bent on writing. Um, Again, not because it was giving me a whole lot of purpose, but because it was something I had pursued since I was a kid and thought that it was the only option for me. So yeah, I did. I applied for jobs. That didn't work. I decided I was going to have to make do. I was going to have to stick around here in town doing my same job, for a while longer. I didn't want to jump ship and get the exact same job somewhere else. I started online dating. I decided I'd make my time here, better in whatever way I could, and I had felt like I sort of had met everybody I really cared to meet in town. And so I searched within, I don't know, a 100-mile radius or something. Um, and within about a week and a half to 2 weeks, I met my now boyfriend, who was in Texas of all places, and he found me, and long story short, we connected, and I'm really glad that I didn't get any of those jobs that would have taken me to a brand new city, because I don't know that I would have, exploring a brand new city. I don't know that I really would have tried online dating, or I would have, if I'd gotten a job, I would have been focused on the job. And so yeah, and then you came back from maternity leave, and I was able to start YCH, and I did have cold feet. I'm sure you remember I did get cold feet right before. And I think that was a combination of thinking, really being afraid, like, what if I've already learned everything there is to learn about what I want to do or could possibly do? And then I just go into this program and I don't get any new information about myself. And I just feel like I'm back at square one. I think it was mostly that sort of fear that crept up for me. Um, and as far as overcoming it, I think you can never learn too much about yourself, and you're never like done learning about yourself. So what I had learned from your free resources, I I knew that I could probably go deeper, because certainly what I had learned and however I was portraying myself in cover letters wasn't getting me a job. So maybe I didn't know myself so well after all. I don't know.
All right, so you get it. You go for it. You sign up for your career homecoming. What is that process like for you? What was the program like? What was it like working through it?
It was awesome for me. I'm somebody who really likes homework, and I do really well at doing. I'm a good student, I do well at homework. But I was really afraid in the beginning to commit anything to paper. I felt like this fear that if I dreamed it and I like made it concrete somehow, talking about it or writing about what I wanted, that I would be really disappointed if it didn't happen. And so I struggled a lot in the beginning with like the playing around stage. I was really like, if I'm going to do it, I want to do it right. And and the playfulness sort of eluded me until I got a little bit more into the pages, and sort of loosened up and realized that, I wasn't going anywhere. I still had my job. I might as well indulge in some dreaming. Um, and then the community was awesome. It was really nice to have several other people to know that they were going through the same or similar things. It certainly made the work days easier, just to know that I could like send a message to the Facebook group and say like, oh my God, I'm gonna wring someone's neck here, and or quit or get fired. It just helped to have people who were also searching for that same sense of purpose in their work. Um, and yeah, the pages were huge. I still have my binder, and it is like a Bible to me, because I look back now and I remember feeling all those things very well, and I remember really having no clue where it would lead me, but I just kept on, and I just did exercise after exercise, and got really comfortable asking myself questions that previously I think I had just really assumed that writing fiction was the answer to all of my questions, and it just wasn't, and that was okay.
All right, so you get done with the program.
Mm-hmm.
Now that you've had a little bit of distance, what do you think are the biggest changes you've experienced personally, professionally, that you can attribute at least some of that to your career homecoming?
Oh my God. I I can attribute so much to your career homecoming. I met my boyfriend, a guy who is so different from all the other guys I had dated or tried to be in a relationship with. I felt like it's been really easy in being in a relationship with him, and I think a lot of it has to do with knowing myself a lot better, and also sort of getting my head and my heart aligned. And I thought that they were before, but I think that there were a lot of questions I was afraid to sort of ask myself about what I really wanted in life. Um, I had a lot of fear about the fact that what I wanted wasn't conventional, and and so I think through the program and really kind of seeing these patterns come up for me over and over and over again, I realized that there was no denying the things that I wanted. They were coming up over and over, and they would continue to come up over and over. Um, so I'd say that was probably the biggest shift. Also, he lives in an RV. He has a home in Texas, but he just before meeting me had bought an RV because he wanted sort of more freedom, traveling for work, not wanting to be in hotels, that type of thing. This is something I would never normally have done. I'm definitely somebody who nests. I love home. I love creating a home. I like my home with a foundation,
Not on wheels.
not on wheels. But it's I've been open to it, and it's just been, we take off in less than a week, and we're going to explore. We're going to see family. This is not a forever thing at all, but it's this accepting this feeling that I really wanted adventure before I met him, even really accepting it and accepting that I would find a way to do it. That it didn't have to sort of stay in dreamland as like, wouldn't it be great if when I'm retired, I could travel the country? Like, no, thank you. I really would like to do it now, and just being open to it. And I feel like the work with Your Career Homecoming got me to think too about like what I'm putting out into the universe, what I'm saying I want. Being afraid to say what I want and then not saying it will probably make it not happen. Um, and so, yeah, it's been really interesting to see how many things have come my way that I really have wanted but didn't wasn't verbalizing before. Um, so yeah, so I'm going to be mobile for a while, and see the country, and that's something that I've wanted to do, and just didn't think that there would be a way to make it happen, and there is now.
What happened
So
to the admin job?
yes, the admin job, the dreaded admin job. Um, I quit it a few weeks ago, and I got a goat. um, I quit the admin job, and that was tough too because I started dating my boyfriend, and he was able to relocate here, um, and then drive a few hours to work, and yeah, and stay a few nights a week. And so it was very feasible for me to continue working my job. And once I discovered life coaching as the thing I wanted to be doing next, I I thought that there was again this idea of convention and tradition, and that I had to do it a certain way. I had to build up, and I do think there's something to be said for being really smart about when you leave a job, and when you decide to launch what you're launching full time, if it is something that involves being an entrepreneur. But I really didn't see myself moving necessarily. And then as our relationship developed, and we realized that he really didn't like having to leave for work only to come back, and I had been feeling ready to try a different city. Um, then it became an opportunity of like, well, as long as he's paying a mortgage on the RV, and rent is really the big thing. Rent and health insurance were probably my two biggest concerns, and fortunately, to be able to be in a home on wheels meant that I'm not paying rent. I don't have to worry about that, and then the Affordable Care Act. I can get health insurance even though I don't have a steady income right now. I did save up a lot of money prior to, I'd say probably starting last summer, I really put my mind to saving money because I didn't know when I'd be able to leave the admin job. But I really didn't want money and or health insurance to be the things that were keeping me there. I think um, that's all fine and good for a while, but I had gotten to a point of desperation where it made me really sad to think that I was tied to showing up every day at some place that felt awful simply because of health insurance and money. And so yeah, so the admin job, I said goodbye to it. It was a lot of planning went into it, but ultimately, I don't think it ever would have felt. I don't think I ever would have felt ready, and so I kind of had to pull the trigger when I saw it being the best time for the university where I was working. The academic calendar, it's like just not ideal to leave them high and dry. And I really didn't want to do that. And so I waited till the end of the academic year, and I knew they could bring somebody in. I was able to train somebody a little bit. And so I went about it in a way that I feel really proud of, which was important to me because I had been there for 4 years and had developed good relationships. So yeah, so I said sayonara.
Okay, so looking forward,
Mhm.
how are you feeling about your plans, the future of your career, and what's coming up for you?
I'm really excited. I have a lot of questions about what's coming up, but I'm not scared of them in the way that I think previously I might have been. I feel really energized and I feel really motivated, and I also feel um, a greater sense of community now than I did when I was beginning the process prior to your career homecoming. I've got that community, of course, and you. And then in my coaching training program, I've got this community of women who are also investigating what it would be to be a life coach. And so I've connected with so many people in the last year, and people who have a similar idea about meaningful work as I do. And that's been really heartening because when I was going through that crisis, I really wondered, like, how is everybody else getting up every day and like going through the motions and doing work and doing home life, and like, is that really all there is, and it's great to know that there are people who are doing it in a meaningful way, and are highly motivated to make their work meaningful or to find meaningful work. So I'm just really jazzed. I am still really new in the coaching arena and the entrepreneur arena. But I feel like I have really good resources, and I also feel like I have the gift of time right now to build my business and to figure out how I want to build my business. And I'm still learning. Gosh, I think we're always learning, but I do feel like having the time has been the biggest luxury for me, and the space to. It's funny. I was looking back through my pages, and the word Rome came up so much. And this was before I even really thought that I would be relocating into an RV and traveling the country. The word Rome kept coming up. I just kept wanting a work environment where I could roam, where I had the time to like let ideas marinate, where I wasn't interrupted by chatter from coworkers or photocopy requests. So yeah, it's really cool to see that I can make that happen in combination with you know the universe granting me some good luck. I can actually like make a lot of that happen, which has been awesome.
Great. Thank you
Yeah,
so much for sharing your story with us.
yeah, my pleasure. Thanks for asking.
Bye.
Bye bye.